And we the hottest show in the game right now. We got Chief Pontiac Skype at the North Gate when you're not. You know what I'm saying? Or when we not, you better bump straight. I'm telling you. Hey, Chief, this right here. Hey, we had to get you on, man. We got some stuff going on. Did you get in touch with like it was Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I'm already in touch with Phoenix. I wanted to go first. I gotta go over the culture, and explain, because the loss of the doulas is like a concussion to the collective culture.
Okay.
Right. So I got from the source codes, I had to explain what a doula is. There's different kind of doulas. Because you have doulas that's birth doulas that only preside over the birth with a midwife. And she's like a prenatal obstetrician. Then you have the doula that's also, she become like a life coach to the new mothers. All of the new mothers had a doula in our culture. They had a doula, and some of the doula's jobs also include childhood psychology. So if you go to my Instagram page for today, it's a lot of receipts on what I'm talking about today, right? I sent you some receipts, them just book references I sent you earlier, Elder. So if periodically you want to, you could just flash one up there so they can write it down, or they could go to my the Sick 8 Instagram page, and my posts for today are all related to the doula and what the function of a doula is. So you got birth doulas, you got death doulas, right? Then you got what's called a bridging doula that oversees both birth and death. The irony is Phoenix, she's a death doula and a birth doula. And while she's also part of closing out the Haitian Revolutionary Conjure, right? She is a priestess whose functions ties her to all of the doula functions, but it also ties her to the closing of the age, because we had to close the Haitian Revolution and she was instrumental, right? So first, the birth doulas, because we always start with birth and the new birth, right? So here, doula guide to birth, right? So these are like recently in the last 5-10 years, the rise of the doula has been seen in our community as they return back to functioning as the S-priestesses. Go to Google and type in S-priestesses, right? These are the origin of the doulas. They was priestess of priesthood. Everything we do, we had a priesthood to align the order and structure with universal structure, right? So while he looking that up, the S-priestesses, this is where you get Medusa's name from. Medu means 10, which is the highest rank, which means from Alpha to Omega. And Sa is the priestesses of the birth priestesses, the ones who oversee the birthing of the new child, bringing them into the 3D realm. And they also teach you, and the doulas teach the mothers who's gestating the child how to mold the child into the character or function that we need, right? In our neighborhood, our mothers always called it marking the child. Be careful what you say while you're pregnant, baby. You might mess around and mark that child. You don't want it to be like so-and-so, right? So they always use that term, which also ties Sa, S-A, priestess. So this is before your modern medical establishment. This is going to take us to what's known as the caduceus in a minute. It's only S-A, side spelled S-A. I think you got an S-A-S or something. S-A space priestess. And then you should have the right one on the main page. Go to the main page. I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
All right, my bad. Damn. Okay. Woman with religious duties and responsibilities in certain non-Christian religions. Simple quotation: religion, sir, uncommon.
That's just priestess. Female. Scroll down. You got to find the side priestess.
Oh, okay, hold up. High priestess in faith.
See, you see where it's coming up? Priestesses, the Delphi, Shakti priestesses. All of those is different orders of priestess that's part of this network of priestesses. The side priestesses is just the birth priestess. The Delphi priestess are oracles, right?
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So yeah, I see. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
the connection is with Hathor was
put,
the birth. Like,
put Egyptian behind that. It might come up if you put Egyptian behind it.
Yeah, Hathor. Yeah, because Hathor was the surrogate mother. Well, that's really Mother Nietzsche. Yeah. Really, she was a surrogate mother.
Go scroll to the top where it say Hathor at. Go back to the top.
Right there.
Read what that say.
Hathor, prophecy of Hathor was the title for priestesses of the goddess Hathor in the temple of Dendora in ancient Egypt.
The priestesses of Dendera. Look.
Yeah.
The priestesses of Dendera, when you go look at Dendera, these are what you call stargazing priestesses. When you're talking about the temple of Dendera, you're talking about the great zodiac of Tarwaret that shows the divine seat of the great mother. Okay, so we coming out of one age, Pisces, going into another age, Aquarius. Today is the Mahuta, right? This is why it's important for us to understand the functions of a doula. Okay, because the birth doula oversees the birth of a child, right? But in a higher spiritual ranking, they also can oversee the birth of the age, right? So all the time while I was working with Phoenix, she's ushering out as a death doula, the old, but as a birth doula, she's receiving the new. Right, so she's presiding as a death doula, the hospice nurse, because that's what they call modern day doulas, hospice nurses, death doulas that watch you and oversee you on your way out, right? And they do rituals to keep you from getting stuck and to allow you to find your way back clear, and then they be a doula to receive you when you come back. And the doula to receive you when you come back, your energy frequency is going to match something that the society need. And the doula will be talking to the mother, and their natural instinct could drive the mother to want a certain type of child. The certain type of child is the message that's coming from the Mother Earth through the mitochondrial to the mother, telling her what to look for in the genetics of a counterpart in order to produce the child that's needed to correct the errors or to balance the systems, right? So all this falls in the hands of the doulas. We also have modern day midwives is just a straight birth doula. A modern day midwives in ancient times would just be a birthing doula, but the doula that's the life coach sit around and observe the child for 5 to 7 years. So they end up becoming like an intricate part of the family of all of the women who was their assistant as a life coach. She's really the doula that helps to guide the adolescent from the early years into becoming a persona that's more conducive to the nature of the child than an ego artificial idea of the self. In other words, she bring out the inherent traits in the child as opposed to strangling the natural traits in order to make them a cog in the wheel, right? So the importance of the doula. New York recently passed a law where doulas can be paid through the insurance, right? We moving back to the matriarchy, and a lot of these hospitals, right, which is supposed to be hospice centers, is going to be changed into the proper center according to the function. The hospice centers is going to be the hospice of the doulas, where they deaf doulas that help you in your transition out of the physical realm back into the spiritual. Whereas the doula birthing centers is going to be for the birth doulas to bring in the new child that's coming in order for the new for the family, you know, to be able to be more productive, more functional. Getting rid of the doulas was very instrumental in breaking the family structure, right? Because the early developmental psychology of the child helps the maintenance and the health of the local community is directly tied to the health of the children that are being reared in the community. All our communities right now is under the school system. School, H-O-O-L, comes from a Yiddish word, shul, S-H-O-O-L. And the Yiddish word shul comes from the Hebrew word sheol. And when you translate sheol into modern English, then you get hell. The dismal abyss, the abode of darkness, right? So when you realize you've been sending your children to be indoctrinated to be little demons and to be adversarial to the original organic tribal structures, that's why we got so much division in our communities.
Hey, Rod, here.
Yeah.
So would a doula be the same as a midwife? But like, you know,
right. A midwife is a modern day birthing doula. She helped with the the doula that's there for like a life coach. The birthing doula, which is the modern day midwife, she's only there for the last few weeks of pregnancy until you bear the child, and she the one who assists the doula that's going to be there the longest. She assists her in the process of birth in case she need medical medication that's not common, or she might need stitches and stuff like that. So they would use a nurse practitioner, or they would use a midwife that used to do that stuff. She's the specialist in the process of the birth. Whereas the doula can take on the form of a life coach, family physician, pediatrician for the children, child psychologist, right? Then you have what's called the transitional doula or the exit doula, which is a death doula, oversees the hospice where all of the people are gravely ill and about expected to cross over.
So they call it today like a chaplain. The chaplain is the one that go and do that part, but it's supposed to be
the chaplain is the priest that's supposed to organize it, but he don't do shit right no more. The death doulas today is called a hospice nurse.
Okay.
They the hospice nurses, and most of them been replaced by doctors as a hospice physician.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So when we going through this Murtha, we have to do public announcement, public notice. The people need to know that the old age is dead, and you need somebody that's a qualified death doula, and they have to make the public announcement that the old system is dead using the oral tradition. Right. From the oral tradition, once they announce the old system is dead, they have to also either bring with them a birthing doula or they have to be a birthing doula, which makes them be like a full general practitioner doula that do it all. Then she can sign the death certificate by stating in the public domain that the old system is dead and that she presided over, and then she'll go into some of the stellar alignments that she's been talking about. She'll go into the work that she was doing to clean up her aspect of the closing of the age, which in Phoenix's case, she'll be going over the Haitian revolutionary conjure closing out and however she want to explain it, right? And then once she get done explaining the deafing process of the old system, right? She might use politics, she might not. She might only use the stellar alignments or the solar flares or the fact that the core of the Earth stopped on January the 6th and then reverse polarities back the other way, what they call a pole shift, right? Yeah. She can announce all of that stuff as the symptoms of the death of the old system. And then she can tell the people because of the Maherta that the old system has officially died and the birth of the new system is coming in as we speak on source codes. Now, the source codes is coming from the center of the galaxy and what we know as Sagittarius. Okay. Right? And Sagittarius in the zodiac is called the gift giver. It comes with blessings. Right? Now, Sagittarius is the centaur with the bow and arrow. Right? And they are
I see this game all the time.
No, yeah, because they get the gifts from Capricorn that comes with the funnel full of fruit. And those fruit is nourished by Aquarius, which is the water bearer. Right? So the zodiac is like a relay race is how it's set up. Right? So when we bring Phoenix in, the rest of it is going to be her doing a public announcement and letting the people know as a death doula, her credentials, as a birth doula, her credentials, and then she has to sign the death certificate. She do that by making the public notice in the public domain because we following the oral tradition, which is overriding the written stuff that they have wrote down to undermine us. Right? Doula, Doula. Phoenix, can you hear me, sweetie? Unmute your mic.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you go. We just wanted to make sure you was up in here. So, have you been listening? Are you caught up to where we at right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you take it from there, and then we could split whatever questions come up when you done.
All right. Okay, so I'm taking it in. So first I have to ring us in. Ashe. Ashe. And Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe, and Ashe. On this day of January 15th in their year of 2024, I, Rising Phoenix, under multiple various lives of 9 lifetimes, am declaring that the old age, under what they have now called of Kali Yuga, it is also known as the Iron Age, has began to start an end of the end of the age. I am officially signing the death certificate, but let me first give facts of how we're going to bring us to. So they've had the theatrics. They've gone on for multiple times of what we call the Iron Age, the Golden Age, the Silver Age, and the Bronze Age, in which I've lived through all of them. I have been a birth doula. I have brought in much in many lives, and I've been a transitional doula. For we know that nothing ever dies, that we know that things transform from one form to another. And that under this Iron Age that has run for the last 1,200 years, they have had multiple theatrics. They had Pearl Harbor, the various Kennedy assassinations, the New Orleans Convention. They had the World Trade Center in the final closing, the economic crisis, the Bilderberg, the various world wars, and what they also called the Salem witch trials. We had various years under the Silver Age, which y'all call the Twilight years, and also the Golden Age and the Bronze Age. Under my last incarnate as Cecilia Fatima, we closed out recently on 1/6/2024 at 2:22 a.m. in the rising under Dottie Bookman, the ending of the Haitian conjure, to finalize our conclusion. I am officially signing off on this certificate of death at the ending of their age, as we're now going to begin what they call the transitional period. The transitional period runs officially from 2025 to 2325. It's a 300-year period. And I will give you why it is those timelines. It takes approximately a year. So from 2024 to 2025 for us to finally complete and consummate the closing so we can move to the transitional period. The first event will be on April 8th, 2024, which is the Aries new moon total solar eclipse that will hit over the New Madric Fault and cover all 13 states in what they now call of these United States of America, which is the original land of the indigenous, and of America, which is the indigenous lands. For all of the tribes are now returned back to states we call, and we ask that the widow, Empress Bird, that you are restoring and you give back the lands to the indigenous people. Over the next course, we will have various eclipses that will hit from approximately 2024 that will be going under Aries, as well as Libra. Libra is the balancing of the scales, and it will finally culminate at the beginning of 2025. They have the pavilion. When they say that a year is about 1,000, a day is but 1,000 years, the year we mean is the life of what they call Praham, Praham. That is a one day, which was a 1,200-year cycle that we have finally completed, and it is done. The final date that we know that is coming is approximately between February 5th through February 9th, 2025. That will be the birth, and I, as a also qualified birth doula, which I have been through many lives and many ages, not only on this planet, but other multiples, will be bringing it in, because on February 5th, Mercury will be the Aquarius. We're moving to Aquarius, the water bearer. We're bringing in the water. Pallas Athenia, she, the war goddess, is squaring and she is no longer fighting. We are moving into our soft energy. February 8th, Vesta is moving direct. And then finally on February 9th, the new moon in Aquarius. Yes, Lord Kali Ka, that's different than Lord Kali, because Lord Kali, the one you always say when you talk about Kali energy, she is sitting down her throne. She has fallen, she is cleaned. We have done enough. We are moving and we are birthing and moving the children out of the schools. It is time for us to go back into birthing soft energy. That means the divine priestesses no more sitting in masculine energy. And our home country of what they call Cap-Haitian or Santo Domingue or Haiti. Our water is flowing. Oshun has returned home. We will be able to go back home. We will be able to go back home. We will be able to go back home by this year and go to our lands.
Take your time, sweetie. You ain't gotta be in no hurry. Just breathe. This is a lot for everybody that's watching, especially the sisters. So take your time.
And to all of the various houses on the red and the blue side, which is why I'm wearing purple, because they are merged. Our homes are united. There will be no more separation of male versus feminine energy, for we are one. There is no more of paying for unnecessary things like water and fruit and ignorant things. There's no more raising your children by yourselves, because it is the village that matters. It is no more of their falsehoods of finances, because they had no money, so they created money, which was on a false note that never existed. There's no more paying for land that is your own. You will be re-returned. All the tribes, chiefs, the matriarchs will be re-returned your lands that is yours. That is yours. Plus interest, because trust me, they have it, they know it, and they will be returning it. And they have been informed it is in their best interest to return it. The 9 realms are open right now. The 9 realms are open. So everything is flowing properly and decently and in order. There are no more blood sacrifices. There is no need for blood sacrifices, because that was never to be. They were called in when they put the women out of the temples. They were called in under false pretenses, requesting money and funds and division and a Luciferian energy. So we are re-returning that you don't pay $5,000 and $10,000 and $20,000 for initiation of your Akashic records that are your own, that rightfully belong to you. There will be no more spiritual kidnappings of babies, no more physical kidnappings of babies, and all of these human traffickings that have been going on. Because trust me, in the last of this year, see, let me break something down. While this is a beautiful season for me and for us, it won't be for those of the unrighteous, because the Lord Kali Ka is cleaning up the unrighteous of the earth, and they cannot stay. First of all, they do not belong here. They never did, and they never were to have been here. And they cannot stay in this land. They are not allowed. If you are not of love and righteousness, and of allowing the masculine and the feminine to work together as one, not divisively, but as one, right? Because the return of the matriarch has never been about, we are the women, it's our turn, and we're kicking no. If you are in that energy, you do not belong here either. If you are in of me, and my, you can't stay either. It was never about that. The return of the matriarch was about everyone had their position. It was no big I's and little U's. And everyone had their place. That's why the tribe and the villages worked, because you may have been great at farming, and you may have been great at the water, and you may have been our warrior, and you were the great teacher, and you were the elder mother, and you may have helped keep us spiritually, and you kept the Akashic records. You were the historian. But everyone had a position and place, but none was greater than the other. Everyone was all needed, and that is where we are returning. So I impede and speak. Don't let these nuances of the cleanup for the next year, because they're getting wiped off, to confuse you, because it won't affect you, won't affect us. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful season. They just start returning back to us. And trust me, they know. Matriarchs, look on the patriarch side of your houses. That's where a lot of the records were hidden, right? Because that's when they hid it, when they stole it. It was stolen and hidden on the patriarch sides. The father lines, go look on your father line. It's a reason they were trying to take the daddies the fathers out of the houses. It's the reason they were trying to steal the men away from the women's and the mothers. It's the reason they took the babies from the daddies and tried to say, well, we'll give you a $200 child support check, when really the kids need the daddy and the mom. You see what I'm saying? So I impede and ask you, if you have a male or a baby daddy or ex-husband, pull them off child support, because it's not about that. This does not go into the transitional age. And no, nobody asked me to say this. This is from spirit. This is an upload. This is the new age. This is the transitional age, because we're back in unity. Those are the old ways. We don't sit in those ways. We sit as one, as a village, because Big Mama is about, I don't care if all y'all don't get along. Sit your ass at this table and we're going to all sit down and talk and get along together. Enough of this fighting. We done with it. Don't matter what happened, because we won. Because I love you and you love me. Now come over here and give me a hug and y'all going out there and play. That's what we're going back to. That's the age. Come in here and baby, you pregnant? Well, let me tell you, let me let you know what old soul you got returning, because a lot of them are returning. A lot. And it's a year of twins. It's going to be a lot of double babies, a lot of babies that have set in a lot of this old energy, that I'm saving my time to come back to the new age. And we owe it to them to have it ready. We owe it to them to have the home schools and teach them not just physics, but metaphysics. Not just science, but teach them the real science, how to plant and nurture and collect rainwater. Not just these false pretenses of math, but do you know the real, how math's really supposed to have been added up? Not no 2 + 2 is 4 and these false illusions of time. We owe it to them to teach them all this hidden knowledge. And they can only learn that at home with us, not a school to prison pipeline where in the 3rd grade, they say that they've already decided if your child is going to be penitentiarized or not. Pull them babies out of school. Teach them, because you're teaching them more than they learn. Right now, they're only teaching them to the test. If someone you know is pregnant, pull them. If you don't know how, get with me or someone else so we can get these doula centers ready and running, because these babies have to be here. That is the transitional age. That is the transitional age. All the various matriarchs getting along, redividing the land, redividing the finances, everybody having, no one should ever go hungry, homeless, and thirsty, ever. If you do, it's a sin and it's a shame. And it should not be, and it will not be in our everyone, our new age. Not one person. The Oshun energy is not about I am Oshun and it's about me and worship me and bow to me. No, it's the sweetness returning. It's the sweetness. It's love. It's love making. Go make some love tonight if you want to come bring in the sweetness. Go hug on your children and look them in the eye and snatch that iPad from them and say, how was your day? I love you. Let's sit together and read a book together. Cook a meal and sit at a table with each other and actually eat together. Like we used to with Big Mama and Grandma and my mom. So as I sign this new birth certificate of this new life, I've signed the death certificate of everything dead and cold and old, and that we're not taking any subsidies, and we want war that's old and it's dead. And every eclipse that hits starting on this April 8th, 2024, is closing all of that out. And by February 9th, 2025, on this new moon in Aquarius, that baby is here. And I thank Haiti for the beginning of building that canal as they're going to birth. The legs is wide open in Haiti for the birth and the babies. Wide open here in the Americas as we are birthing. Don't worry about what it looked like, because these chiefs in these Americas and all these tribes have put in work. And I give thanks to all of these great chiefs. I give thanks to the 3 kings walking. I give thanks to the ones who had to fake their death and hide out for the last 25 years while this was all being worked out. I give thanks to the hidden hands who thought that they got away with something, but you didn't. Because all you did was make us stronger, because this is the best school that we could ever win. This motherfucker made us level up. So thank you. for thinking that you really got over. And I say, and this motherfucker is closed.
Appreciate you, Phoenix, but you gotta birth the new system. You can close the old one.
It's birth.
Yeah. And once you announce it, that's what it is, because you the death doula on the old system, and you the birth doula on the new system. The time in the middle was the Maharta. And that's when everything was aligned. Now we go back to lining up. Everybody line up at Big Mama house.
Get your family reunions planned. I already got stuff planned with my family. That's what you do. Everybody
That's
go
bad
get your
enough.
family reunions. Go get your family reunions planned ASAP this year, not next year, now. Go find that cousin, uncle, auntie. I don't care if they behind a bridge, under a ditch. I don't care where they at. Go round up your people. Go get your family. Go get the family. Get them back together. Get it planned. And I mean by June, no later than June. Give yourself 3-4 months. Trust me, it don't take that long. Get everybody back together. And I'm talking from experience of what I'm doing. I'm saying I don't care if it's people that we hadn't talked to in 20 or 30 years. Go get your people. Go get your people. Put your pride down. This is not a season of pride. This is a season of love. Remember, this is love. This is where we do our best work. We've warred enough. Wartime is over. We in
Oh, we
love.
about to pitch a wang dang doodle.
Yes, we in love energy. This is love season. Love season.
You hear that, Elder? We about to pitch a wang dang doodle.
We done fallen enough. It's time to love.
All night long.
Yes. Go do it. Go do
Hey,
it.
I got a question. I got a question. So this right here is like it's alchemically, like this is alchemically as far as, because Earth, they talk about a new heaven, a new Earth, all that in the religion or whatever. So it's like a birth of a new Earth, you know what I'm saying? A new paradigm for us as Nubians. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the mindset of the people, once they change, like we gotta change, because that's all we missing. The mind they came in somewhere along the last maybe like 1970s. I think it was crack that pretty much put a crack on us. First, they was doing the whole neighborhood. Yo, you got your ass whooped 10, 15 times. I remember we threw a rock. Like my granddaddy had left. We was staying with my granddaddy. We threw a rock and hit this old lady window, busted it out. Right? We got a whooping by like somebody that like the old lady's son that knew my grandpa and them, my mom and them. He whooped our ass. And then we got home. We was hoping that he'd tell. We was like, man, we thought, we hoping that he'd tell my grandpa. And when my grandpa got home, we got another whooping. So like you said, like it's a village to raise a whole village to raise a kid. Like back then, you got that whooping like that. It's like you was scared to do shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit in front of anybody, because they're gonna get a whooping by them and they're gonna tell your mom and them. So, but now it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. But I believe
we got to go back to using the village, because that's the greatest way to teach a child. So we birthing prodigies, but we are not intelligent as they are. So it's harder for us to teach them to embrace their full intelligence because they more intelligent than we are. Right? But the common ground is, once we learn to put it in baby terms, they can build on it into infinity. They can come up with the complex mathematics now. Right? You teach them how to process information. You don't teach them how to let information process them. Because when you part of the cog in the wheel, the information is processing you, which makes you act out like you a drone. Right? You follow the system instead of standing on your own 2 feet, because you lost all self-confidence. Your confidence in self is tied to the system. Right? But when we go back to Big Mama house, she reminds us of who we is. right? The old crone energy comes in because she got the most experience with the most grandbabies.
Mhm.
In order to understand each personality as a master psychologist, in order to help the next generation solve problems better than the last one, because she could see everybody's error. So this is when these solar rays, right, been telling us to prepare. So it's been telling our melanin, hey, prepare, because at the Maherta, source codes is going to come in to change and alter your DNA. You're going to be upgraded. That means our upgrade as adults comes in the form of our ability to be more useful to the youth, right? The ones of us that's elders now that wasn't elders before, is responsibility to reorganize and restructure the community in order to take us back to the great law. So they wanted to make a deal with Malachi, and his deal is only one thing. Under one condition, under one law. The one condition is restore the great mother.
Mhm.
And the one law is the great law.
Mhm.
Larry called it the first principle of the universe, divine love, right? Because once the love in the heart chakra is activated in the prefrontal lobe, your third eye activates your empathy, not your sympathy. Now you know how to solve the problem instead of bitching and complaining about it. So the matriarchy, people be thinking that it's feminism, is not matriarchy,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Men have a different type of power that's more powerful to their children under the matriarchy than under the patriarchy. You have to be a lone hero in order to be a hero to your children. You have to be in their record books. Whereas when your children is hands-on watching you take on the world and solve problems, you become their first-hand hero and not their proxy hero given to them by the society, right? All of us is doing our own part, but we ain't recognizing the part we doing. Therefore, we don't know how we can improve our ability to play our own part, right? But once you get skilled at it, you come back and tell everybody, look, this is where we make our mistakes at. And this is how we fix them. Divide and conquer is the first obstacle we got to overcome, because under the matriarchy, ain't no big eyes and no little U's.
Right.
So to get over that divide and conquer is to see people for how they treat you and how you want to be treated and how it relates to each other, right? It's the balance in the relationships in the individuals, and then it starts to produce the highest form of love because y'all syncing and cycling together. That's divine unity. And from that divine unity, you can generate the psychology of the greatest good of the collective. And then when you explain it to them and they can competently understand it, they aid and assist you in spreading the message in the psyche of the collective unconscious in order to correct all the errors in the great egregore. That shit sounded Japanese to me, what I just said.
But it's, I mean, what it is though is it's all real. What you said though, I mean, at the end of the day,
It's
yeah,
just
it's all
it's
real.
just the science of how it works,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So in our culture, the person who is performing the function, when it comes time to give the report to the people, have to make the public service announcement. When the person don't know what to do, the chief that do know what to do becomes responsible to bring the person to the public in order for them to get their credentials and to give their professional call on the entirety of the situation. So if we're going to close out the age, you need a competent death doula. If we're going to birth a new age, we need a competent birth doula. And we can nurse it from there with the life coach that's the child developmental psychologist doula. right? We got the curriculum now. We got the masters that can teach the proper curriculum to the children to advance the intellectual capacity beyond the adults. And that's the collective goal of the ones that was held back. If you want to proceed to the front, you have to proceed to the front now, right? And part of that is for her to announce the death. She signed off on the death certificate, and in the birth certificate, it's the same thing. It's just all of the shit that wasn't in our greatest interest is no longer accepted. All of the people that was sacrificing other people, if you can't get it by your merit, you won't get it. There's no longer, under the new regime, no sacrifices of the innocent and the righteous for the indignations of the wicked. That's canceled now. Right, which takes away all of their Babylonian blood magic, Babylonian money magic, and Babylonian sex magic incentives to abuse children in order to oppress the masters. We woke now.
Yes.
And we ain't banned you fucking with our kids. We just got to get aligned as the chiefs across the land again, which we pretty much 99.8% there, right? And once these final little degrees click and the public begin to become aware that the chiefs didn't reclaim the land for real, and it's not a joke, and that we did have characters in strange places doing weird shit in order for everybody to come out on top. So don't be surprised that some of the good people had to do bad things in order to overcome the obstacle of the horrible people that was oppressing the world. Right?
And don't be surprised somebody contact you and hand you over some land or money or businesses at any point, because they know that all these things have been done and that it's time to transfer stuff over. They, like I said, they know who you are. They know who the various chiefs are. They trying to make sure, do you know who you are? Because if you've recognized who you are, and in particular, if you've traced down your bloodline on your patriarch and your matriarch side, on your red house and your blue house line, and you really know who you are, and they know that you know who you are, they can't do nothing but hand it over, especially if you've demanded it and said it's in your best interest to do it. They can't do nothing but give it to you. Trust me. I know. I know that they know. And as far as on the school stuff, it's definitely our responsibility. Like he was saying, these children who are really old souls returned in new avatars are way, I'm not gonna say smarter, they're much more enlightened. They come here without having to unerase a lot, because they come here already unprogrammed. And so they'll be like, oh, time isn't real. Yes, I walk through walls. Yes, I do this. Yes, I do that. A lot of them, they already know how to do that. And so me, with like the school that I run, with the Rising Kings Academy, I know like part of my assignment is to train the leaders, let the leaders go and train the others. Because to me, it's all about a domino effect. I get one group, because I don't hold on to nothing. I'm not thinking that I'm all of that. I go get the one group, then it's your job. You go get the next group, then that group gets in, and it's supposed to ricochet. So you can have multiple schools everywhere. That was part of my assignment is. And like you were saying, the curriculum is here. It's done. I mean, we have the curriculum for not only birth and doulas and herbs and all the astrology and astronomy. Astronomy is really where it's at. Astrology is just this little bitty stuff. A lot of what I just barely touched on is what they put under the astronomy belt. But all of the sacred science and metaphysics and becoming the true alchemist and really learning the things, we have these curriculums. We are ready to go. I've actually been doing it and teaching it for years. I have students. These students have their kids come sit in my class, and I'm talking 6 and 8-year-old kids will sit and pay attention better in my class than they do at school. These kids are bored with school. They don't want to be there because they're not learning anything. So we just need to implement in each community and village our own little individual schools, because the program and curriculum is already ready.
We're not doing schools things. We're doing rites of passage programs.
Well, Write Your Passage or academy or whatever words that we want to utilize it. But to me, it's the temple. Yeah, it's our. I don't want to use the word temples because they didn't mess that word up. But we're giving which that have been stolen from people, showing people how to do the stuff that they actually have done many lifetimes, already know to do, and unlocking all the source codes. That's it. It's no more secret. Not like it's not supposed to be no secret society, secret knowledge shit. Like no, it's not.
Yeah, that's part of the age of Aquarius being the age of knowing.
Yeah.
Because now I can come out and freely talk about metaphysical concepts and people can grasp it because I came from the block.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm trying to explain to the people from the block what I learned and learning what they don't want us to know.
Yep.
So when I give them back the information, it activates them as light codes. Malachi taught me how to translate my knowledge when I speak into light codes. That was the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? As a Melchizedek priest, we obligated to learn how to translate the knowledge in the light codes, which activate the most amount of brain at one time in the disclosure of information.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So without Nuwapu,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this stuff can't be applied in order to wake people up. You have to have it. It's a critical part of how the culture from over here is the keys to unlocking the codes in our psyche.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nuwapu is a critical part of the culture, tied directly back to the old ancestors from the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it also ties to the temple priests around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the Sufi order of the green light tells me where all of the rituals is for the daughters of the green light. The daughters of the green light, that's Leo, that's heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they come in because they come in with pride. And the pride of the home is the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the kitchen is the heart of the house. Big mama house.
Yeah.
That's where you go to get the love and affection through the soul food.
Yeah. Big
Right?
Leo energy. Yep. You know I'm a Leo, so I feel that Leo rules the heart. Yeah, the heart is Yep, it's the 5th house. Yep. And the house of creativity, self-expression as well. Yep.
So we coming into these new energies. I don't know what it's gonna look like on the rollout, but I know it's gonna feel the pressure release from all of us, knowing that it's a new day and a better day than it was in the past. The chapter of misery can close.
Yeah.
Because on the payout from living through the chapter of misery is what they call bounty of heaven. And they say that the bounty of heaven is from the land of milk and honey.
Honey, yeah.
We talking cows and bees, right? That's what we talking.
Right.
And titties and bees is the girl next door.
Yep.
Because she bees in the trap. In trap house next door.
Yep.
Right? So that's the hidden queen hidden in plain sight.
Sight.
So now everybody can start seeing the pieces to the puzzle. Right? And I would advise the language teachers from the Nuwabian community to get prepared for an influx of students coming to learn one of our original languages that was brought back together by the Nuwabian Moors, Yamasi. That's all from the sacred record of the Nuwabian nations of Moors. Malachi got to come and tell y'all about it and give y'all a report on it. As the chief of the tribe, they got to call him forth.
Okay.
Right? And they got their own internal mechanisms to call him forth, because now, on the new age, they have to produce him. And it better not be a hair harmed on his head. They got to produce the rest of the chiefs. All of it. We call them political prisoners because we don't understand the war we was fighting.
Right.
But the ones of us that understand the war know that the chiefs is all lined up, and they got to give us reports. You know, like El Chapo got to talk to his community. I ain't got to talk to them motherfuckers. I can't even
No,
speak
that's
their
him.
language.
Yeah, that's him.
But he didn't know what was going on till Larry told him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When he realized what was going on, he started sending messages back to the community, telling the people, and they making moves on different agendas now. They ain't moving according to the old agenda that they had before. Now they trying to clean their community up.
Mm-hmm. Everybody cleaning their own.
Yeah. The critical need for the Haitian Revolution culminates in the activation of the canal. Most of us don't understand what that means, but it's a critical part of the birthing of the new age.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that before the end of February it'll be running.
Yeah. It's over 95% complete now.
Right. And that's
And
a
it was
critical.
completely self-funded by the people, not governmentally funded, not dirty money, not UN, not any agencies. It was 100%. It's been 100% funded by the people. They have been doing money. It's been built 100% by the people, men and women out there. Folks who was even over here in the States went back home and got back on the land and have built it 14 and 16-hour shifts a day. And they've done this because, you know, of course, over there back home in Haiti, they have done away with the government. There is not one. So they have completely said, no, we starting back over. We realized we don't even need y'all. We could do this ourselves. They went back to the tribal. They had a big cleanup, and it's been done, and let you know that all of the stuff that you were giving or paying, nothing was ever getting done or being cleaned until the people did it. So that's, yeah, it's almost done.
So that critical unity in Haiti to signify the closing of the war country. The mechanics of it work like this. When you go to war, you call troops. The troops get in formation, and then you go fight, right? Well, the same way you call troops to formation coming into the war, you got to call them into formation to rebuild in the aftermath of the war, right? So they start to automatically tribe up, but the government is villainizing the process and calling them gangs.
Right.
Right? Once they tribe up, the pressure from the government forces them to unify and band together. Right? Now, what's coming in from Dominican Republic is called left bump energy. Because now when you have your neighboring country against a progress and you push back, it forces your community to join forces.
Your neighboring country who you freed. Let me add that in.
Right. But the whole thing is forcing the Haitian people to get their act together, because this greater benefit can be undermined if we don't make an alliance.
Here at Garage Excel, we want to help you feel more.
So they forcing the unity in Haiti.
Think of it like if you and your sister and brother fighting in the house, and you can fight each other, but can't nobody from out the house fight each other, because y'all gonna band together and be like, hold on, only we can fight. You better not come over here fighting. It was like that.
So while it's telling all of the rest of the kids, pick sides. You gonna fight with your sister, you gonna fight with your brother. Right? So when they make the alliance and decide to come together and build this canal despite all of the opposition, that unity is the energy you ride to close the conjure. While the conjure is closing, while the rituals is being done by the descendants of the ones who opened it, you riding the same energy of unity across the island in order for the troops to march off the battlefield and to rebuild home in the aftermath of war. Right? So we riding the energy on the closing of the conjure. That's why it was so important.
Right.
Right? Now that we coming into the new age, it worked. It's obvious that it worked because the canal is 95% done.
Yeah.
When they turn the water on, the side effect benefit that the Dominican never seen coming. that they're going to derive from the canal is going to make them apologetic to Haiti. And we forgive each other, but we might not forgive a stranger. We can fight each other, but you better not get in it.
Yeah, don't put no gun on my brother.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
Right.
Don't you do that. Yeah, it's war then. Yeah.
Right. So the reason why we want those women in that pampered energy, because it gives us increased access to higher light codes. Hey, you know, I was watching Dr. B Serious, and I had gave the formula for the women to pamper themselves, but I didn't tell the men to, you know, put themselves into certain stressors. And Dr. B Serious was going over what the men should be doing. But he was just making it in general. Right? But when you balance in the energy, I found myself doing exactly what he said. I hate being cold. So I went for a walk, and in the middle of the night, it was below 0.
Wow.
Right? And I came and I took off everything, and I was soaking wet sweat. See, that's the traversing the land on the ground to reflect the energy that's coming in.
Okay.
You go into survival mode, it activates survival energies through the light codes. The survival energies then become contagious because it's a benefit to the collective to overcome the divide and conquer, to overcome the influence of politics in Hollywood. Right?
Yeah.
When that stuff don't affect them no more, now they can get down to real business. Right? We can go and have our Mardi Gras.
And yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah, and don't nobody party like we party.
Baby, don't nobody party. Go on down to the booth. We'll give you a preview.
Hey, I'm about to find out something about that Mardi Gras too, because I'm about to drop a bomb on that Mardi Gras shit. Because that Mardi Gras shit,
that's tied to Los Carnival and the islands, and in Brazil and South America.
No,
that's all tied together, part of the cultural celebrations from the tribes.
Yeah, it go back farther than that. That shit billions of years old.
Well, you can trace it all the way back to Quetzalcoatl, when they used to have the tribes with their different feathers wrapped around the Great Pyramid, doing their different steps to activate certain frequencies in the energy field.
Yeah, even farther than that.
That was on the Great Pyramid of Tahuti in South America or Central America.
Yeah, them beings are connected to the beings that brought the Mardi Gras. The Mardi Gras go all the way back to the Nagas. They were extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
It's really like if you look at the Nagas, it's really like cobras on their head. Them feathers represent like cobras, going back to ancient Kemet and all of it. But that's all I will say that for my tape, for my.
All right, well we'll wait on that one then.
Because you know the Washita are mixed with Moors. Because the so the Almax is over here, and then the Moors, these Naga beings or these Moor beings came over here and mixed in with us, and that made us Washita. Patrice put the Moor on the energy Washita Moors, and so that Mardi Gras came through us, through the Washita Moors and New Orleans. We started the catfish fillet, all that. I'm a Washington. My granddaddy is Charles Washington, and then my grandma is Flo Williams. And that shit is deep. But I come right there in Louisiana, Empress Patrice, all them where they at. That's my grandpa's people.
So your people, you know, my people Louisiana people too. Your people Louisiana people.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana.
Okay, that's my folks too. We down there on the Louisiana side. That's where my mother line is through Louisiana.
What's your mother's last name?
Well, on my mother's maiden name is through the Tappins.
Oh yeah. So you Chata.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's my line. We still got buildings and got a town in Collingston, Louisiana to this day that's still our running town.
Yeah, see, you a Chata. Yeah,
On
like I'm
Choctaw,
Choctaw too.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm Choctaw too. Choctaw and
Uh-huh.
Washington really is the same. It's just a
Yeah, and so that's why it makes sense what you said, the Moors and all that folks, because yeah, they do. They had a whole line and groups and very sacred, very, very
yeah, that goes
powerful
all the
folks.
way back. Yeah, it goes all the way back billions of years.
Yeah, we work with the waters and we do the corn and stuff. We've been working with the water for a long time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water, people.
People didn't know
Wade.
that they was calling Yimmy when they were singing that Wade in the Water. See, people thought down there in Louisiana we was in the churches just singing and folks. And we wasn't in the church singing and everything. We was in there calling all our deities. And folks thought when they was in there having the tongues and speaking the tongues with the head, that's actually an ancient tribe. That's of the Serpentinian priestesses and stuff. So that ain't, folks didn't understand how we move in Louisiana because we are melting, mixing pot of a whole lot of groups from a whole lot of places in Louisiana.
All I can tell you is in the ENO, the priestesses is powerful, and them conjure men ain't no joke.
No, we not.
Look, I had to go down to the Big Easy. That was the original training ground before you went to the other big cities on the land.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that. When you used to come in before 1492, you had to stop at the port of New Orleans. That's where our intake was. Right?
And people, and what we say is Louisiana now was not just that little corner. What they know is Louisiana, obviously for Louisiana Purchase, covered about what we now know as 10 states, all the way through to Florida. Like it was very,
that
very
was
deep.
all the land of flowers.
Yeah, that's
Louisiana is the land of flowers west.
Yes.
Right. And they changed the name after King Louis and Annabelle or whatever the fuck her name was.
That don't lie, them lying folks. But that's over there with all, them over lying French and that, because they actually did. New Orleans is a mirror city of Cap-Haitian, actually. That's why if you look at New Orleans, Louisiana, look Cap-Haitian, the buildings and everything look very mirror city-wise, because that's how them French came in there.
Yeah. So the high chief used to have a village off the Mississippi River. The Navy was centered in the port of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the French got the stronghold, because they conquered the port of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
But when they lost the two key battles, Chief Pontiac and Toussaint Louverture, they had to turn tail and flee. Right? And they had to leave us a clue. So they gave us a drag queen called her Statue of Liberty and erected the Eiffel Tower in the city of Paris, Parthenon of Isis.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the sacred place of Isis that I fell to a drag queen. And the drag queen came with a book called The Law, and the law was supposed to light the torch to the future by laying you a path of legalese. But it was all a drag story, right? It's a legal fiction. And then
how we got that code is if you had a father that came on a father line through some dragon line through the Scottish or Scottish rights, you could get the code on the blue line, and if you came through the red line through the house of the daughters of Isis, you can catch it on your red line, and then you can catch the clues.
Yeah. So the masters of the Far East overlooked the Great Golden Dragon.
Yeah.
And from the masters of the Far East, we get critical keys to the lodges of the East. So you got the 4 dragons. And the 4 dragons is the green dragon, red dragon, black dragon, and the white dragon. Right? Dragon mean master. So you talking about the master of the north, south, east, and the west. Right? But it's just an anagram for the news.
The news.
Right? Because when you turn it around, it's WEN, says wins. Right? And wins is short for Wednesday. Wednesday is the middle of the week. That's the hump day.
Mm-hmm.
right? So then you watch for the phase of the moon,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if the phase of the moon align to the hump, that's the crescent on the mount,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the crescent on the mount has a star in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now we represent the flag of nations played out in a sign alignment from the stars to match the flags of the organizations on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you represent the Nubian nation with the upright crescent and the 6-point star. So where you get the 6 points from? Because the crescent was on the mountain, that's a point.
Mm-hmm.
And the star was a 5-point star. But 5 points plus 1 point equals 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the flag looked like the Turkish flag over the minaret,
Mm-hmm.
which is a mirror flip to the Nation of Islam flag,
Mm-hmm.
which shows you the alignment of the tribes are lining up to the enemy across the water in order for us to clearly see what's taking place,
Mm-hmm.
right? And seeing so they all call for the mother plane, York right, Scottish right, right? So in order to call for the mother plane, you need both sides to agree that the shit done got so far out of hand, we need to get back to Big Mama house,
Yes.
right? And then she sent her baby boy,
Yes.
go fix that shit for them fools. Okay, mama.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been making fun of him the whole time, calling him mama's boy,
Mm.
the pink prince, gonna grow up to be the purple king. They thought he was gonna be fruity, but he's turned out to be the master of the Royal Arc degree.
Mm.
Right? And the Royal Arc degree is the red and the blue make the purple.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that means that you standing in the middle of both houses with the keys to the kingdom, ready to let everybody into the gates of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
As above, so below.
That's why they say, and the meek shall inherit the earth.
And the word for meek is effeminate.
Yes.
Effeminate mean the feminine,
Mm-hmm.
which is returning back to the divine feminine, which is the Oshun love energy,
Yes.
or as Sister Hydea would say on the Goddess Glow Up, that keep it juicy for you.
Period. In that order. Yeah.
So, Elder, you want to take some questions before we cut out?
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes.
Let's see what they got. The questions in the audience.
Excuse me.
We unpacked a whole lot of information in here.
In a short amount of time.
This right here was fire.
Yeah.
Y'all got any questions for the Sister Phoenix or the Brother Rod? Drop them in the chat. Mother was abused.
So, Elder, when we gonna get the hear from y'all and get the update on the Chief Dr. York? I got a question for you.
Man, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of shaky stuff.
Dr. York behind the scenes right now raising holy hell.
I just want to get the declaration because these chiefs walking. I know this time is up, everything wrapping up. I'm ready to see. Look, folks coming out of hiding.
Me knowing the master teacher, man, and now that all the stuff that I done figured out.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like after they got him in that jail in Colorado, he got out. He got out some kind of way. I don't believe he switched avatars or something. I'm telling you, man. There ain't no way that they can hold him there with all that alchemy that he knew. Like
he definitely can hop that one.
Listen. But go back. Pops already told us before anything ever happened. We not paying attention, and it confuses us because of the duration of time. We eternal beings, time don't count.
Right. Time is not real.
You gotta remember, Larry been in there since Pops was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
The same with Angel Bay. But they had a greater purpose to fulfill on land, so they wasn't allowed to kill them, but they was allowed to incapacitate them until one of the chiefs figured it out. We had to unravel the COINTELPRO operation of the garden plot.
Hey, when did what year did Larry go to jail? Like in the 60s?
He went like 71.
Damn.
72, something like that.
Damn.
King David died in 73. 74, the new covenant came down. Brothers of the Struggle, Growth and Development. The all is one concept across all houses. Right? He was still in there. All this was going on from the chiefs that was meeting.
Directly after that, directly after.
Yeah. So the chiefs was making treaties in the institutions so that one of the other chiefs in the street can pick up all of the data and relay it to the tribes on the land so we would know what we're looking at. So when you go back to the new covenant, the all is one doctrine, the Lord, Stones, and Disciples Alliance, go back to the Pontiac, Illinois Peace Treaty. You had all of those tribes are all old Mississippian tribes making an alliance to unify all other tribes under them. So while they was locking us up, some of us was getting out and we was passing pieces to the puzzle. And a whole lot of people gave me a whole lot of pieces to the puzzle. Where'd Phoenix go?
She might have cut out. I don't know. Yeah, but we will have the sister. I don't know what she must just cut out. I hope she'll come back in.
So look her up on Instagram on Phoenix. We want to give us your contact information, sweetie, so they can.
Yeah, so my new page is Rising Phoenix Academy. So RAISING Phoenix Academy on Instagram. And then if you're on TikTok, it's Rising Phoenix Wins. So if you have questions about, particularly goddesses about doula training, classes, of course I read as well, but in particular about the doula in that in particular, especially about doula, let me know.
You know what we need? We need a doula that all of the other doulas can contact to have a national connection, so that people be asking me from different parts of the country, but I don't know no doula in their part of the country. We need one of the doulas just take the contact information from all across.
Well, I mean, I don't mind definitely doing that because I'm a transitional doula as well as a birth doula. So I bring babies in and I help souls transition out. So I do both energies. So if the doulas want to come together and I can come up and create a list, because that's one thing about me, my Mercury is in Virgo, so I'm highly analytical. I'll create a list and roster of those who are either doulas or doulas and midwives, and then we can come up with whatever, and then that way I can start having that information. So if people are pregnant or just are looking for it, I can let you know who is your designated doula in your area, because it's vitally important. I've done it on my own, like if someone's been in Atlanta and they've needed a doula and I knew a doula in Atlanta or something, I've given them a person's contact. But I don't mind getting your information, creating it into a drive. I can create us a group or an email group, and then we can start, building from there. So just contact me on Rising Phoenix Academy.
Hey, I'll be putting the link in the descriptions after the show. I'll link your Instagram and stuff into this.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that, Elder.
All right. Hey, Rod.
Yeah.
I think somebody. Okay. Yes, you got the perfect name for a doula too. A rising phoenix, because a phoenix is like rebirth out of the ashes. So it's perfect. It's like you can't a lot of shit times just fall right. Just the system just make The universe, Big
I
Mama
don't
just
see
gave
it in that name.
into place. If you look at all the little small shit, you'll see how it line up just by your name being Rising Phoenix. It's like a perfect name for a doula. Yeah, so it's like it's a lot of shit going on. It's a lot of alchemy be going on in the background. Half the
It does.
time, me and Bob don't even be knowing what it's just like it fall into even the date that we doing on the 15th is a significant date. Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, this wasn't me playing. This is just like I had got to download and follow through. That's it.
Yeah,
I can't do no more than follow what the universe tell me. I think that's the best I could do.
Oh yeah, it's public record right here now.
it's
Like,
almost a year from the date that we was all last on together too, as well, Elder. From when we had our sage in the sage the water. Think about it, water sweetened, and now we almost a year later on closing it out. So I mean, you just can't plan stuff like this really no better.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a full turnaround.
That's a for real full turnaround.
And 2024 is the year that they got to shit to get out the pot. Whatever these disagreeable beings that been had their hand around our neck and our land and shit, the relief is finna come. And then it's a whole bunch of technology that they got that they gonna have to release to us. And we gotta
Well, I
figure
got
out.
one better for you on that, Elder. It ain't. They don't even have a choice to shit and get out the pot. They already out the pot. A lot of them are getting removed because Pluto, which is the planet of life and rebirth, Scorpionic rule, is in its 29th degree. So it's in its final culminating. If you know anything about astrology, the degrees are strongest in the beginning energy of 0, not 1, but 0, and then 29. So Pluto has been sitting back in Capricorn after it went to Aquarius. What we call retrograded. So it went back to Capricorn, which is money, patriotic energy, old system for 6 months. And it's hitting in the 29th degree before it's going to move to Aquarius here in the next couple of weeks. And it'll sit there for 20 years. So this is why, like a lot of the Epstein lists, everybody's like, oh my gosh, 2024 seems like we only 12 days or 15 days in, and it's crazy because Pluto is in its last degrees of Capricorn before it moves to the Aquarius age and just growing. So everything is, is going to be just good and flowing anyway. And then when you look at just all the energy moving into the next year, it's all growing and flowing. That Aries eclipse on April 8th, 2024. I'm going to tell you why that one, and I got to say this and be through. It's like a beautiful energy. It's going to finalize the cultimatum from 2017. See, 2017, we had the Leo solar total eclipse on August 21st in 2017. This Aries one that's hitting on April 8th of this year is going to do an X, essentially. It's going to hit over the other point. So that one in August of 2017 was like this one. The one that we got coming up in April is doing this, and it's going to do the cross out over the Americas to say everything done. Cross, finish line, over. And then it's hitting that new magic fault line, which if anybody knows and have researched new magic fault, it's going to hit like 13 states, and it's going to all that stuff where they've been having stuff over our ley lines, stargates, just a lot of things and spells they've had over is broken. It's over. It's done. And so, a lot of the stuff is just kind of done and over. So that's why I'm like, really, the stuff is just hitting on its own. They don't really have a choice of releasing anything. It's the universe doing it.
That's right.
That's what they talking about, disease X.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta remember, we getting source codes that's gonna directly affect our DNA. We don't know how that effect is gonna look, but they have records that they can look at to have an idea based on what we've been through, what the DNA upgrades will cause us to do. So now they want to attack where they most likely going to see the upgrade with some chemical obstruction, right? Called a vax. Right? So when they run that narrative, you know what they trying to stop. They trying to stop your upgrades from taking hold by interrupting it chemically in order to alter the balance of what you are destined to become. But it ain't gonna work if you don't take that shit.
Well, yeah, see, that's why they tried to do it. It's nothing they can do anyway. Now, the people who got it, they out of luck. But see, the last time they was doing all their magic and trickery, this new magic earthquake hit, which stopped them or slowed down their whole Louisiana purchase. So that's why they worried and afraid. They're very They know it's coming. They've been trying to prepare for this since about 2014. About this is coming, so they know.
There wasn't no way they could prepare because they can't stop what's happening in real time. Like right now, the Earth is literally in what we call active terraform mode for the new Earth.
The poles are shifting. Like if anybody, of course, I was in the waters in the Caribbean and the Atlantic. The Caribbean waters felt so cold, and the Caribbeans have never been cold. So a lot of these ice caps and a lot of these freeze technologies from the wars and stuff that they were doing from, back in the day, have been falling off, right? So the waters have been shifting, the poles have been shifting. And again, y'all have to remember, time is an illusion. So if anybody has truly studied what has been now labeled Reiki, because it's energy, time isn't real. So the past, present, and future are all simultaneously existing at the same time. It's not real. So us true alchemists and masters, we know we can set and move in and out of time as we will. Like as I'm in here talking to you, I can be somewhere else. I can go shift. I can go to war. I can go do an assassination. Us true spiritual assassins know how to move in and out of energy, portals, time, mirrors, everything. So they know that. And so with the 9 realms open right now as well, and all of the various inner earths, things have, have already moved and shifted. So their illusion of time and their spell of time, that's why some days seem really fast and some days seem really slow, are moving out of the way, because time was never real. If you ever know anything about Reiki, Hanju Je, Shanju Ne, it means there is no past, there is no present, there is no future. We go over stargates. That's what our sigils and symbols that we drew, whether you're in Reiki or Haitian Voodoo or whatever that we drew, we knew how to move between time and space and dimensions, because we've never been limited, even in this meat suit of an avatar with their false concepts of time. Us masters even knew how to move around, but now people who aren't masters won't even have to worry about it. And these new babies and new avatars have come here knowing how to move out of their dimensions of times. They walk through walls. I'm telling you, because I've talked to 8-year-olds who do it all the goddamn time. And I've explained to their mothers, your child is not crazy. That's why you got to get them out these fake school systems, so they don't put them and try to put them on pharmacia, which the root word is medicines, and tell you they're ADHD and they're crazy, and take them to a psychologist, because psychology, the root word of psychology is psyche. It's not study of the mind, it's study of the soul. And if you think about it, if your third eye, which is really your first eye, they're trying to get into your soul, but they can't do it because these kids have blockages up. So.
Yeah, these babies now, if we don't put the brakes on them, their potential is unlimited. It's like they can be anything. They can be some shit we ain't even thought about yet.
And they'll try to exit out of here too, because they'll be like, "Oh, I ain't worried about it. I'll just come back again." And so, for instance, I've had some unfortunate.
Most of that come with people don't teach them that they go through the hard part in life. That's the test,
right?
To see if they learned everything from the practice.
Right.
And everything on the test was in the practice, but everything in the practice ain't on the test. That's why the test seem hard. Because it's condensed.
And letting them know, hey, let your kids know in whatever form, the rough ages is over. You don't have to use the word Kali Yuga or whatever. And fun or sweetness or beauty or whatever word has returned, because these babies are like, this ain't what I signed up for, and they not liking it. So let them know what you signed up for has returned. It's very important for these kids to know that. Very, very, very important for these kids to know that.
A lot of them know I came to fix it for them.
They absolutely do. And trust me,
they be telling me.
They come find you and they send their parents to find you. Hell, I didn't have to jump on, I don't know how many calls with you so we looking for Jehudi. Where is Tahuti? They know you by your ancient names, and some other names. That's how I know that they know about you. And there's no way they can know that. So.
Hey, y'all, we right on time.
All righty.
Hey, y'all, we got to come back and do another one, Rob. We're going to have to set it up so we can do one with just Phoenix, in which she can come in and do her stuff.
Just hit me up. We'll test on that.
Yeah, the ringing of the bell, all that just gave me. It's like it tingled my spirit a little bit. It gave me. It's like a refreshment of my. Like I felt like something we used to do back in the day that that we like people don't
Hey,
know.
she can ring us on out of here with the
Yeah,
bells
ring
if
us
you
right
want
here.
to.
Yeah, ring us that bell. Ring us that bell.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All right, y'all. Beautiful energy.
Sign
All
out.
right.
Yeah.
Ashe,
Yeah.
and Ashe, and I'm gonna ring us out. All right, Ashe. On this day of the shoot to Yam Boom. Ashe. And Ashe. All righty.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody hit that like button. We had like 4,000 people on here tonight. Everybody hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Hotel.
All
Peace.
right. Ayibo. Ashe.